Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I know I've been missing for, God, forever. Had a lot of moving going on and other things in life going on, but I got this palette, and if you watched my last video, you know how terribly it swatches. So to give it a fair shot, I decided I was going to try to create an eye look with it. My face is already on from foundation, concealer, setting powder, contour, highlight, even eyeshadow primer, which is something that I never use. I've always thought that it was just a pointless thing to use, but I'm gonna dive into this. This is the Kat Von D Fetish palette. When I tried to swatch it, you can see that the pans are chalky and flaky. It doesn't swatch well at all. Now the glitter shades swatch okay. The matte shades don't want to swatch at all. They don't want anything to do with it. So I'm going to try to create an eye look and show everyone just how terrible it is, and we'll suffer together. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the shade Fixation and a clean, all of my brushes are clean, I cleaned them, fluffy brush, for a transition shade. Now this is what's most annoying when you go to use a brush with it. It just goes everywhere. Fun times. And I'm just going to put that in the crease. So I did have to dip into just the transition shade about 3 or 4 times because it's not pigmented. I have seen so many posts on Instagram and everywhere else of people saying how wonderful this palette is, and I just don't see that. I'm not seeing it at all. The next shade I'm going to take is called Sex. Yep, that's its real name. And I'm going to take it on a Morphe M441 brush. And I'm gonna focus this color right underneath where our transition shade is and on the outer corner of the eye. And I'm also going to bring it all the way along the crease to the inner corner. Now going back in with our first brush, I'm going to go back into the transition shade Fixation and just blend the two. And this fallout on this palette is ridiculous. Now with a smaller fluffy brush, I'm going to take the shade Bondage, which is the deep red here in the corner, Again, it is a matte shade, and I'm going to focus this just on the outer corner of my eye. I mean, it picks up like really well on the brush. So I don't know if you guys can see how it's just so patchy, especially in through like this area, and it doesn't, the color just doesn't want to stay there even if I try just packing it on. Doesn't want to stay, and it just sort of blends itself right off. Okay. So now I'm going to dip back into the shade Sex again with my Morphe brush, and I'm going to blend where the red meets the crease so we don't have any harsh lines. I'm going to go back in with the original brush for the shade Bondage, just the smaller fluffy brush, and I'm going to place that under my lower lash line. Then I'm going to again take the shade Sex, buff right underneath that to blend out any lines. Now I'm just going to take some concealer. I'm using the Tarte Shape Tape and just a tiny little concealer brush. And I'm going to cut out my eyelid. Okay, so now because I cannot wait to show you how poorly the glitters perform on your face, they swatch okay. I mean, they swatch okay, but when you try to actually apply them, it's just a mess. So I'm going to show you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take another flat concealer brush and I'm going to dip into this shade here. It is called Chastity. Once I have dipped into that, I'm going to spray it with some setting spray. This is the Spray Set Go. I think I got it in a Boxycharm. So I'm going to attempt to pack this everywhere that the concealer is. But as you can see, I'm already having issues with it. Okay. Many hours later, I got it to somewhat stick. I probably went in at least 10, 15 times into that glittery shade trying to get it to stick, and this is the best it would do. It looks like crap. Now to blend it in on the outer corner, I'm going to again go back in with the red shade Bondage and hope that this doesn't make everything worse. So I'm going to jump off camera. I'm going to put on some eyeliner, lashes, and do my eyebrows, and I will be right back to give my final thoughts on this palette. Okay, so here's the look with the eyeliner, the eyebrows, the lipstick. We're gonna ignore that giant thing on my lip, it's fine. Time for my final review, final thoughts. I did manage to get a kind of decent look out of it. I'm just so disappointed in the matte shades. I'm disappointed that they don't blend well, that they're patchy, and this isn't the first color I've used that has been this patchy. I tried to create a look the other day, immediately after putting it on, just had to wipe it off because it was so bad. I'm really upset about this because I really wanted to love this palette. I wanted this palette for so long. The second it was even leaked on Instagram, I immediately sent it to my husband and was like, I need this, please. It's just that bad. The glitters swatch beautifully. Like, I could not wait to cover myself in them. Today's one that I used was the third shade I've used that does not apply to your face. It swatches great, but as we all know, swatches don't really show how a product is going to perform on your face. You don't apply eyeshadow to your eyes, rubbing your finger and going back and forth to get enough pigment. That's just not how you do things. So overall, I am super disappointed, and even though it looks beautiful, I think this palette's a dud. So that's just my opinion. Some people may either know how to use theirs better or may have had different results. I've seen so many people on Instagram all over this palette and just in love with it and obsessed and so happy about it. That's just not how I feel about it. We're allowed to have different opinions. If there's maybe different techniques or something that I could or should use that anybody knows of, just feel free to let me know down in the comments below. Maybe I'm doing something wrong and that's what the issue is with the palette. Who knows? That's all I have for today, so I'll see you next time. Bye!